Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of 401k Real Talk. This is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com's RPA Edge and CEO at Trow, TPSU, and 401k TV. I review all of last week's stories and select the 5 most important and interesting ones, providing open, honest, and candid discussion you will not get anywhere else. So let's get real. First story, Yale professor Ian Ayres is back at it again, attacking the 401k industry, claiming that the system does not protect an estimated 10% of participants who do not allocate investments wisely or select high-cost funds, suggesting a need for additional fiduciary guide rails. In a Wall Street Journal column, Ayres, along with UVA professor Quinn Curtis, blame retirement plan advisors who they claim favor high-cost investments to pad their fees, along with clueless plan sponsors who do not know any better. They also claim that most RPAs do not flag participants that may need help, commenting that plan sponsors and co-fiduciaries should have a duty to warn. Predictably, the industry reacted negatively, and though the research by the 2 esteemed professors may be thin, as was the research on the 2016 attack by Ayres, there are still some salient points. The vast majority of plan sponsors do rely on their RPAs as they are not investment savvy. And though high fees should not incent RPAs to select higher cost investments, if their comp is level, what about proprietary investments and services where they receive an additional fee? And though freedom of choice is a hallmark of DC plans, there is no doubt that DC participants who do not have that choice fare much better. And though most RPAs provide due diligence on investment lineups, how many are flagging participants making poor decisions and actively reaching out to them? Next story, when the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021 was passed, many DC experts predicted that benefit brokers and healthcare providers would be subject to scrutiny of their fees, just as DC providers and advisors were after 408b2 passed in 2012. The Schlichter law firm, which heralded the onslaught of DC litigation, is taking square aim at plan fiduciaries now that 408b2 applies to the healthcare industry, placing LinkedIn ads targeting participants in 9 companies. There's nothing like lawsuits, along with fines and aggressive advisors, to cause plan sponsors to take action, which in turn could disrupt the benefits industry, just as fee disclosure and fiduciary concerns, as well as litigation, has dramatically changed the DC market, significantly lowering fees and fueling provider and advisor consolidation. Next story, speaking of lawsuits, a retired teacher in a TIA retirement plan filed a class action lawsuit claiming that her personal data, along with 2.3 million others, were compromised when the file transfer service used it by TIA was hacked. Recently, data on 670,000 Fidelity participants were compromised for the same reason. The plaintiff is seeking compensatory damages as well as injunctive relief. The recent breaches of third parties used by large providers like Fidelity and TIA expose the vulnerability of the system, just as advisors clamor for access to data. Next story, the beat goes on as fees continue to decline, with Morningstar reporting that the average asset-weighted expense ratio declined by 7.5% in 2022, to just 37 basis points and almost 60% decline since 2002. Morningstar cites the move by investors to lower cost funds and competition, along with advisor-driven models that use lower cost investments like ETFs. The rise of CITs and 401k plans have also driven costs even lower. Equal weighted cost is a whopping 102% and dropped by less than 1%. And the asset weighted costs are significantly lower, dropping faster, likely because larger complexes like Capital Group have lower fees overall, which continues to decrease as their assets increase, putting more pressure on competition, especially in the DC market where fees are so carefully scrutinized in a highly litigious environment. Finally, in a war between RAs and RPAs over 401k plans, who would win? I posed that question in my recent wealthmanagement.com column, as it appears that wealth advisors, especially aggregators, are starting to focus on DC plans, not just because of the explosion of small plans due to Secure 2.0 and state mandates, but also because they can be a great source of wealth relief. I argue that plan-level services have been commoditized, which can be mostly outsourced to tool providers like Investment, FI360, and RPA Edge, while the real war will be fought over who can help participants, leveraging digital tools and AI. Today, RAs are better positioned, but can RPAs catch up? So those are the most important stories from the past week. I listed a few others that I thought were worth reading. Please let me know if I missed anything or if you have any comments. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking with you next week on 401k Real Talk.